If you've watched any of my prior videos, you may have noticed me or heard me speak about I have no problem whatsoever, and in fact intentionally plant close together, overplant, intense plant, whatever you want to call it. But doing so, I have to make sure that I keep on top and pull out what needs to be pulled out to give space and room for everything. But we have such a hot, believe it or not, incredible sun here in Newfoundland. There is no smog, So I find, when they tell you to plant basil, it loves sun or what, it all dies for me. But when I've got it hidden, and I do, for example, I've got them hidden in, I don't know if I'll find it, my gosh, there's so many different varieties of things in here. But anyway, I've got basil in there, it's growing fine. Whereas it just normally doesn't grow well for me. I have no idea what this squash is. That is, I don't know if it's a summer squash or a winter squash. Oh boy. But because the leaf is not, to me it's more like, I may be wrong, but it's more like a winter squash. However, if that's a summer squash, that needs to come now. Why do I do these things? Why? So I'm going to go through the garden, is the point I'm trying to make, and see what I can pull out. I'm sure there might be a beet or two. Ooh, look at the lovely, what calabrese, or we call them broccoli, basically. Isn't that nice? And I've got another little one, so no big deal, I know, but after the mouse took out, 7 here and 2 in another bed, that was 9 cabbage and broccoli. I'm happy to see anything. Parsnips are getting huge. I already had one and it was lovely. The Brussels sprouts are doing well. I'm now getting, they're not being bothered right now, but we went through the green cabbage worm, and now I'm getting on, maybe not these ones. I have a bunch of turnips up there and they're sort of all together, which is not something I like to do. And they're being attacked by another caterpillar. It's got little tiny things with stripes. I've had them before, but I don't know what they are. And they are devouring plants. This is what they do. It's more like this, so they must be on here actually. I don't know. I'm not worried with the leaves on the Brussels, but... So I'm going to go through, see if there's anything I can take out. Like this might be a big enough beet, I'm not sure. Look, I've got lettuce in there, thank goodness. And I want to be able to get at this stuff now, it's time. Oh, that looks like a edible beet down there. So I'll see what I can pull out. And I might get to the other half of those potatoes down there, because they're also, I've never had potato leaves eaten by whatever. Don't know what's eating them. So I'd rather just get them out before they're all in the soil and everything else. And these are just earlies. I'll never be able to eat that many, but it's still early enough that there's not going to be huge amounts or huge sizes. And I have, these are coming along. These are my purple Peruvian. Got the prettiest flowers. Really pretty. And they're escape artists. They vine everywhere. And these tiny little plants, I don't know if I'm going to have anything in there. I haven't even checked those really. That's my russets, and I can't imagine getting much of a harvest from those, and I'm relying on these for storage. But here's the purple Peruvian. They send runners everywhere. Now, when I had them up on the, not in a bed and up on the ground, it was crazy. You couldn't walk anywhere, they were everywhere. But I suspect that they're all throughout in there. And I'm getting little, this is a Pattison, patty pan type. So some of my squash will make it. Some of them will be really pushing the limits. This bed I call out all the time because it's salads. We eat a lot of salads, and although I could do with another harvest to keep it all healthy. And of course I have to water. So I'm just going to go dig up some stuff and see if I can make some room for these poor lovely little plants. I've just spotted this fellow. I think he's going to make it. I think it was pollinated, and that's a red curry, that one. All the leaves still not decomposed, which may not have helped them. But you do what you do with what you got, and that's all I had at the time. Now, having said that, they're not the worst looking for early potatoes. They certainly look healthy too. That's always a... Oh my goodness. There's like a bunch of Easter eggs in this one. Wow, that was a lot from that potato. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. And I think I'll just show you what I've got afterwards. Alright, there we go. All done. I'll take them up on the grass and lay them out just to dry it a little bit. I had 3 that weren't good, so here's one that something got at. The other one was a tiny little one that I threw away. And where is it? Oh, and then one that somehow got light and green. I may cut that off though and see, eat that tonight. So the good thing for us, because we're never going to eat all these as a new potato, but the red Norland, which is this one, store really well for me. So I'll take the big ones and put them in a box and put them in the utility room. And the Irish cobbler we'll pick away at as we wine and dine, I guess. And that's my earlies. But I realized, boy oh boy, I wasn't watering correctly. Or enough, I should say. All the way down in the bed, not a stitch of water. So I've got to get out and get the rest of the garden watered once the sun goes down a little bit. And there's that lone little squash that's been fighting for its life underneath the potato plants, and it's actually got flowers on it. So I left him be to carry on and see what life could bring him. I pulled this little bunch 2 days before. Okay, so just a little harvest today to clean up the garden. And so I've got a few stalks of celery, just enough lettuce for Bruce and I to have a salad, probably this evening. I did pick this. I came in thinking I did have a rondinise and went on the internet to see the leaves. Weren't quite like that, but it's got to be a rondinese summer squash. So, pulled that. Just picking the ends of the beans and broad beans. I've got an awful lot in the freezer. I'll show you that in another video. Some carrots. These are the Parisian, although they're getting a little bigger, not looking quite so Parisian at the moment, but that's what those are. This is the Chantenay. I used to live on Chantenay Drive. And this is just a crazy little carrot that I pulled. And potatoes. So I'll sort through these. The big ones I'll put in, well, I'll dry these a bit on a newspaper, actually is what I do. And lay them all out and dry them for a bit, and then I will store my red Norlands, the big ones. They will store just fine for a long time for me, because there's way too many to eat as a new potato per se. Lovely beet. We love our beet greens, so the beet greens are perfect. We've had the leaf miner, but never got this one. And this beet I just pulled because, well, we'll eat the greens, but the sow bugs, once again, they seem to just attack everything. And now I'll show you the onions that I harvested also. So these are my red Carmen and my Stuttgarten. They're the only ones that were falling. I still have probably close to this amount of stir on, but they have not yet really fallen over much, so I'll pull them maybe next weekend. Now I've got to find a place to put all these. I'll show you here. This is the onions I have remaining. Half the fun is always deciding, figuring out what you're going to cook with your fresh produce, isn't it? And this may not look like healthy corn, but it's doing corn things. So I'm pleased. So have a great and safe weekend, and here's a little preview. My next video, I'm going to follow Bruce around as he finishes off our veranda. Yay!